Dan Colson's job is to break in new footballs for quarterbacks on NFL and college teams. He uses conditioners, heat guns, and mud from New Jersey riverbanks.
Getting the leather the way you want it to is an art form in itself.
But just a few decades ago, pro players couldn't always use these customized footballs in games. Then, in 2006, Tom Brady and Peyton Manning helped convince the NFL to change the rules. That inspired teams across America to start testing new ways to customize footballs too. But getting one ball ready can take days, so some teams hire outside specialists like Dan. Today, he and his wife Emily work out of their home in Bayonne, New Jersey, slathering thousands of balls per season, even for the Super Bowl.
It smells like a swamp down here. It's terrible.
So why do some teams spend tens of thousands of dollars a year on mudded footballs? And what does it take to get them all to the field? Dan started Gridiron Football Prep in 2021 after losing his job at Wilson Sporting Goods. He's in the middle of 48 balls for Ohio State, the country's most valuable college football program, worth roughly $2 billion.
They've really championed this process of really making a ball that is conducive to their quarterback. So what we do is we'll get the ball, come over here, we'll get our brush that we use. So you want to brush in circles because the grain of the leather might be slightly different per panel. What you're doing is you're kind of opening the pores of the actual leather itself.
Dan applies his own custom leather conditioner, which adds moisture and grip. Then, he uses an infrared thermometer to check when it's dried back to room temperature. Leather balm loosens and softens the leather even more.
Leather balm is kind of our secret sauce, if you will. So, as we compare, brand new ball out of the box, conditioned, now balmed, ready to be heat gunned.
NFL and college footballs are made from real leather. One of the reasons they're up to 10 times more expensive than the average ball at a sporting goods store. Horween Leather in Chicago has made leather for nearly every NFL and college football for the last 70 years.
People ask me who I'm rooting for in the Super Bowl, and it's always the ball.
Skip Horween's family opened the business in 1905. It's grown from a small shop to a company with roughly $25 million in annual sales. Horween's leather comes from the hides of steers, which are male cattle raised for beef. These hides are stronger and more flexible than the ones from other cattle, so they can withstand tough conditions on a football field.
We pay a premium for them, and it's worth it.
Roughly 2,500 hides arrive every day from Iowa and Canada. Employees grade each one on a scale of 1 to 10. The lower the number, the better the quality. Only grades 1, 2, and 3 are used for footballs.
This particular skin has a bunch of fairly heavy scratches in it, and that would not be suitable for top grade footballs.
Then they throw the hides into drums filled with tree bark extract, oil, and waxes. This transforms them into leather. Next, a machine squeezes out excess moisture. Then, workers throw the hides onto glass panels for 4 hours to dry.
So this whole thing is a giant hot air dryer.
Next is the embossing phase, which gives the football its texture. A metal press stamps each hide with up to 1,000 tons of pressure, so the pebbles don't fade over time. Horween makes 8 kinds of football leather, and another for NBA basketballs.
Football is the grippier of the two, again, because you've got your skilled players that need to be able to handle the ball, whether it's catching, throwing, snapping, or kicking.
Workers spray each hide with up to 5 coats of dye to give it a slick finish.
All of the football companies we work with have slightly different pattern and slightly different finishes.
Horween ships about 250,000 sheets of finished leather a year, also called sides. Skip says sales are strong now, but he lost some clients over the years as cheaper synthetic leather became more popular. Fake leather is a $39 billion industry and expected to nearly double in the next decade.
A lot of those retail balls were leather at one time, almost entirely synthetic now.
Skip says making leather for different industries helps Horween survive tough times.
This might be football leather today and shoe leather tomorrow and jacket leather the next day. Not an easy business, none of them really are, but the idea that I can turn on a game and see something that I had a small part in making, I just get a kick out of it, to this day.
Skip delivers leather once a week to Big Game, a company in Texas that makes nearly all the footballs for America's best college programs and 3,000 high schools.
Welcome to the football wonderland.
Chris Calandro founded the company in 1993.
I'm a nutty professor type, and the things that we can change with a football is really limited your imagination. Very few teams in college football and high school football use exactly the same spec that we build.
Even the best cuts of Horween leather have small defects, so Big Game starts by cutting around them.
We don't want to build a football and get to the end of the line and realize it's got an imperfection on it, then we pretty much kill the football.
Then workers cut it into 4 panels, which will form the outer layer of the ball.
These are now married together forever.
Unlike NFL teams, colleges are allowed to use different sized footballs. Big Game makes them in 3 different dimensions, depending on the player they're for.
So we build things on the larger side if you're a 6'5" pocket passer, or if you're a 5'10" dual threat player, we might have a smaller ball for you. Even at this early stage, there's already been 2 major customizations from the quarterback, what size the ball's going to be, and the leather that the quarterback chose.
Then they add team logos, usually by stamping a metal press on a heated piece of metal foil. After some extra fabric and stitching, the panels are done. But right now, the football is inside out, and it has to be flipped around by hand.
If you do it the wrong way, you damage the ball. Rodney's doing an outstanding job. It is as much about technique as it is about strength. I recently beat Rodney in an arm wrestling contest.
Laces come in multiple textures and have to be added by hand too.
Some are kind of have this rubbery feel, some are sort of have a suede leathery feel. It is, I think, probably the one thing that quarterbacks are most passionate about is the way the laces feel.
Eventually, workers stick the football into a wooden mold, where a computerized pump inflates it.
We're using more pressure than's allowed so that we can push out all those seams and rough spots.
Big Game makes about 1,000 balls a day, even during the football off-season. For $10, an employee will spend a few hours conditioning a ball to make it feel broken in.
Some little things to help get it to leather to feel great, like a nice pair of shoes or a bag or something.
But Dan charges up to $70 per ball because they're customized for specific players.
How do you grip the ball? What do you like on the ball? Do you want it tackier? Do you want it softer? Do you want a combination?
Ohio State, his biggest client, flies him in each season to meet with coaches and quarterbacks.
Ultimately, it comes down to the quarterback, but there are a lot of people that are going to have say in it because they want to be educated, they want to be on top of it.
After Dan's done softening the leather, he applies heat. This causes the leather conditioner and balm to bake into the ball.
Too hot, you're going to burn the ball and dry it out. Not enough, it's going to be a little gummy. We found that sweet spot around 650, 700 degrees of a heat gun itself.
Then he coats the ball in mud, which blends all the layers and helps protect the grip from rain or sweat.
And again, bring out that richness color that so many people like. I like doing it by hand, making sure that it's completely being more or less massaged into the ball and spread evenly throughout.
Ohio State specifically will ask to try to keep the stripes as clean as possible so we don't mud over those stripes. That's not for everybody.
Dan himself collects this mud from New Jersey riverbanks.
You really want that milkshake, thick milkshake-like consistency.
This is also the smelliest part of the process.
It's an awful smell, specifically if it's raining outside and it's more humid.
It's an acquired smell. I wouldn't invite people off the street to come smell it who aren't used to it. Sometimes it makes you question why you are working from home, but at the end of the day, it's a sign that we have a lot of business and it's thriving.
He lets the mud dry for at least 12 hours, then brushes it clean. An electric brush wheel gets deep into the ball's crevices.
You can just run the ball on the wheel itself, get that dust off.
Then one final layer of conditioner.
There's always those little frustrating dust spots. This helps just get that off so that it gives it a really clean, finished look.
Now, the 36-hour process is done.
You can feel that tack, but it doesn't have any residue on your hands.
Then they box the balls up and ship them.
Shout out to Ruben at UPS and Keith, my guys.
Summer is Gridiron's busiest season, but demand stays high throughout the year.
The amount of footballs depends on the weather. Rain will kill a football. Usually a good equipment manager will have 24 to 48 footballs ready to go, and then they'll always send me 24 more so that they're always replenishing.
Back in 2005, NFL quarterbacks couldn't use their own footballs in every game. The home team supplied all the balls, so visiting quarterbacks were stuck with whatever they were given.
If I have a ball and I have my hand on the ball and it, maybe that index finger is slipping a little bit or that thumb is not secure, right? That's what you're going to be thinking about.
Then in 2006, Tom Brady and Peyton Manning helped convince the league to change the rules, allowing all quarterbacks to use their own footballs on offense. This eventually inspired college programs like Arizona State to take football prep seriously too. The team needs 80 footballs for just one practice, and it's essential that every single one is broken in. For official games, the team's equipment manager, Arthur Huzard, selects 12 of the quarterback's favorites.
We give those 12 footballs to the referees, and the referees check them, mark them, and make sure we can play with those.
But do these mudded footballs really make a difference? Dan thinks they can help keep players focused on the game itself.
You put on a pair of shoes, you know they're comfortable because you're not worried about them. So our goal is to have them never think about the security of the football. When it's in their hands, it's to what they want it to be.
But he says he can't substitute for game preparation.
Guy throws a perfect spiral in the corner of the end zone. He probably threw that ball well before he had a ball prepared. But if there's a comfortability to him, hey, maybe I had something to do with it. The strangest preference I've ever gotten is somebody who literally told me that the ball smelled funny and that it bothered him when he had it up on his, ready to throw, and that he was wondering if I could do anything to help him with that. So we got creative and we literally put essential oil in the mud and we're mixing it in so that it had a nicer aroma to it.